This is the High School Crossfire. Welcome back.
Resolved. This house entirely blames lack of urban planning for the increased floods in Kampala city. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our case for today is all about the urban planning that is causing the increased floods in Kampala. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the negators come here and they tell us about the Kampala being a capital city. And then they begin relating it to the fact that there are very many people. So because there are very many people in Kampala, and yet it is a capital city, as the planning organs, what do they expect a capital city to have? They expect it to have a high population. And because they expect it to have a high population, they're supposed to plan adequately for it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, my first speaker comes here and he mentions that lack is the state of not having or having something that is not enough. But allow me to first rebut this. As a farmers, we cannot put the entire blame on the rising population because the country is not bankrupt. There is enough money to fund and implement urban planning in terms of infrastructure. But the plans are not made. And when made, they are few. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to focus on the word plans. Even when those things are there, as my speaker said, they are narrow. The word planning means they are planning for the future. They are planning for what will happen. These people just put things in places without planning for what will come. The outcomes about the outcomes that will come with it rejected. They don't take time to analyze what will come after them doing this. They will put trenches in areas that are not that are not prone to floods. They put trenches in areas that are not even they are not likely to have floods in any future time. So, ladies and gentlemen, we as team government, we say they are supposed to plan adequately and plan for the future. Accepted.
Justify your statement.
Which statement?
Trenches are aware there is no floods.
I didn't say there are no floods. Floods are happening, yes. But
trenches.
We are saying that we are planning. Thank you. We are saying that trenches are put in areas that are having no floods, that are not prone to floods. Clearly, if the negators search very well, they are seeing areas like 6th Street, 7th Street, and areas around Kampala, areas like Chinawataka are having trenches, and those trenches that are there are narrow, and then some of them are not even having the trenches. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are saying that they are supposed to plan. They come and they decide to build buildings, and the buildings they are setting up are in favor of the investors, and then they end up chasing away the people that have been habilitated in those areas. And then when they chase them away, they have not planned for where those people are going to be put. And so those people end up settling in wetlands, they end up settling in slum areas because that is where they can afford. And because of that, they end up causing floods. My speaker comes here and says that lack of urban planning has resulted in construction of narrow water channels, and then lack of urban planning, infrastructures are constructed without considering the flood zone areas which are in Kampala. Ladies and gentlemen, as Team Affirmative, we say that these people are supposed to plan effectively. They are supposed to put the mitigation strategies in areas that are likely to face the floods. Because clearly, according to the statistics, we can see that there are those areas that are likely to even face more. Because even the statistics are showing us that
Panel. The simple fact that Team Affirmative is coming here and urban planning is the problem. Yet, actually, we are seeing that urban planning is here. We are debating against it. It shows that it's not the problem. But we are seeing whether it caused for the increased flooding. The actual problem here, in this resolution is supposed to be the increased flooding too. The current speaker has said that there are trenches in places with no floods. We are looking at the city. Kampala as an entire city, we realize that according to its geographical location and its geographical nature, it has a low-lying terrain. Kampala is a city of seven hills. So why in the first place would you refuse to put a trench somewhere? Why would you refuse to place a trench in a hilly area? Their speaker has said that they are not aware of the numbers of people coming in and out of Kampala. They are not the planners are not aware of the population of the people in Kampala. But I would love to pose the question, if such a thing is in existence, then how do we know from the Uganda Bureau of Statistics report that there is a 4.3% annual growth rate in the population of Kampala City? I proceed by telling you that Team Affirmative is coming here and they have given us no actual reason to actually put the entire blame to hold 100% accountable the lack of urban planning. But simply they are coming here and they are telling us that the urban planners are not doing their job without actually telling us who is even responsible for this urban planning. We are looking at Kampala City. As Team Negative, we are showing you that with a higher population, we expect more demerits. With a higher population, we realize that more resources are being used. With a higher population, we expect more wastes to be released in the city. With a higher population, we expect that because many of these people are not actually residents, there are factors of informal employment. These are the people that are actually flooding our city. There are very many people, and they are brought about the increased flooding. We have given you the actual examples. When we look at the markets that are supposed to be filled with people, there are people outside. Why? There is a high influx. This high influx has caused the markets to be overloaded, so that there are very many people outside compared to the people inside. This, in such a case, we realize that these are the actual reasons as to why there is increased flooding in our Kampala city. When we come back and we look at the aims of urban planning, which Team Affirmative has failed to understand in this case, we look at the improvement of the quality of life. So when we say that Kampala City, according to the Global Trade Report, it is one of the fastest growing African cities. There is absolutely no room for you to come here and say that there is lack of... Taken?
According to you, simply define for us the term urban planning.
Ideally, urban planning is the structuralization, is the social, economic, and political structuralization of a city. And we realize that because Kampala is our capital city as Uganda, it is clearly an urban city. That is why, as Team Negative, we have come here and placed the entire blame on the high influx of people. Why? This high influx is brought about by informal employment. Not many of these people are supposed to be living in Kampala entirely. Many of these people come here to simply do what? To work. Because they simply come here to work. We are looking at this increased floods as a result of their very many demerits. Even when the designated planner has put up the advertisements, they have put up the TASA or Hutonde, such things to educate them. We have realized that because there is a very high population, it is bringing up the things like the increased flooding. These people are dumping all their wastes in the drainage channels and on the streets. That is why we realize that there is increased flooding in Kampala City. Because the aims of urban planning, true, they have been fulfilled. Then we have the roads, we have the infrastructure where it is supposed to be placed. That is why, as Team Negative, we are entirely blaming the high influx of people.
This is the High School Crossfire. We'll be back in a minute.